Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the official closing press conference of the 13th session of the World Urban Forum, WUF13, here in Baku. My name is Katerina Bezgachina, I'm Chief of Communications at UN Habitat, and I will be moderating this closing press conference. It is my pleasure to do so. Over the past week, global leaders, policymakers, urban experts and stakeholders from around the world were together here at the Olympic Stadium discussing one of the most defining challenges of our time. How do we house the world safely, inclusively, and sustainably? This year's theme was Housing the World, Safe and Resilient Cities and Communities. This forum comes at a critical time as the global housing crisis is deepening, driven mainly by climate change, conflicts, and growing inequality. This edition has been the largest to date, and we are really proud of it. We are honored to be joined today by distinguished guests representing both the international community and the host country, Azerbaijan. I would like now to introduce our speakers this afternoon. Mr. Anal Guliyev, Chairman of the State Committee of Urban Planning and Architecture of the Republic of Azerbaijan and WUF13 National Coordinator. We also have the pleasure of having Ms. Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, with us. Ms. Anna Claudia Rosbach, Under Secretary General and Executive Director of UN Habitat. And also we have a representative of incoming host of WUF14, Mexico City, represented by Maria Victoria Romero Caballero, Ambassador of Mexico in Azerbaijan. We will begin with opening remarks from the Chairman of the State Committee on Urban Planning and Architecture of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Mr. Anar Guliyev. Mr. Chairman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Katrina. Dear Ms. Mohammed, Ms. Rosbach, Ambassador, distinguished representatives of media, ladies and gentlemen, these past days in Baku have marked an important moment not only for Azerbaijan, but for the global urban community. We have welcomed governments, mayors, international institutions, financial institutions, academia, civil society, youth, women, private sector, local communities, all united by a shared commitment to shaping more inclusive, sustainable, and resilient urban future. Today, WUF13 in Baku is a natural continuation of consistent efforts of Azerbaijan in order to align our policies with the new urban agenda and sustainable development goals. It is a global extension of the national conversations we have been building over the past years. Hosting the World Urban Forum is both a great responsibility and a strong expression of trust from the international community and from UN Habitat. We deeply value this partnership and close cooperation that has made WUF13 possible. WUF13 has demonstrated the truly global nature of this platform. 53,500 participants took part actively, including about 50,000 in person and more than 3,000 online. More than 400 main events were organized across the forum. Around 400 speakers from 125 countries, 340 out of them international and 60 from Azerbaijan, contributed to the main program. WUF13 introduced several important innovations that will shape the future of the forum and the global cooperation. The Leader's Statement segment, held for the first time in the history of the WUF at the initiative of His Excellency Mr. Ilham Aliyev, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, became one of the defining moments of WUF13. The participation of 27 heads of state and government, high-level guests, and leaders of international organizations clearly demonstrated strong political commitment to advancing the global urban agenda and strengthening international cooperation in sustainable urban development, shared commitment to ensuring adequate housing and resilient communities for all. Another important milestone of WUF13 was the reimagined ministerial meeting held under the chairmanship of Azerbaijan to review the implementation of the new urban agenda. Out of 111 participating countries, 80 were represented at the level of ministers and deputy ministers, while the remaining delegations participated at ambassadorial and senior official level. The ministerial meeting was followed by thematic panels that created a more interactive and solution-oriented platform for dialogue on housing, climate resilience, social inclusion, and multilateral cooperation. The rich exchange of views and practical recommendations generated through these discussions contributed significantly to the development of the chair summary and helped build momentum toward the high-level review of the new urban agenda at the United Nations high-level meeting and General Assembly later this year. For Azerbaijan, hosting WUF13 reflects our national transformation agenda. Across the country, we are advanced large-scale urban renewal, modernizing cities, expanding green infrastructure, improving housing, strengthening climate resilience, and building smarter and more inclusive communities. In our liberated territories, we are undertaking one of the most ambitious reconstruction efforts globally, rebuilding cities and villages based on principles of sustainability, smart planning, and human dignity. Through its own financial resources and national capacity, the country is building 12 cities and more than 300 villages from the ground up within the framework of the Great Return Program, ensuring the safe and dignified return of former internally displaced persons to their ancestral lands. Master plans for about 110 cities, towns, and villages have already been approved, while plans for other settlements are currently under development. WUF13 will leave important legacies beyond the forum itself. A significant lasting legacy of WUF13 is the launch of Baku Urban Award, initiated by Azerbaijan and to be organized with UN Habitat as the only international award presented within the framework of the World Urban Forum process. Designed to bridge practice, knowledge, and policy, the award reflects Azerbaijan's commitment to promoting innovation, excellence, and international cooperation in sustainable urban development and particularly housing. We have signed a letter of intent with UN Habitat to develop operational guidance based on the Baku standards, supporting future host countries in organizing World Urban Forums. Another significant milestone is the adoption of the ISO 20121 standard at the national level, embedding sustainability into the organization of major international events in Azerbaijan. These achievements reflect our commitment not only to successful delivery, but also to long-term institutional impact. WUF13 was deeply inclusive and in design and implementation. Civil society was broadly and actively engaged in the forum, accounting for 12% of all participants. Establishment of business and innovation hubs strengthened engagement with the private sector, investors, startups, enhancing the role of innovation and urban transformation. It is pleasant to see broader representation of the private sector accounting for 13% of all participants. The forum clearly demonstrated that urban transformation is most effective when governments, communities, and partners work together. A defining feature of WUF13 was the Urban Expo, one of the most dynamic components of the forum. Total exhibited space of the Expo is more than 10,000 square meters. In total, 260 participating organizations from 81 countries represented 122 stands and pavilions. Participants included governments, academia, civil society, public institutions, and private sector, including startups and innovations. The Azerbaijani pavilion, covering 1,500 square meters, presented the country's vision and urban transformation journey under the concept "From Vision to Action with People," showcasing heritage, sustainable planning, smart cities, housing, tourism, and reconstruction in liberated territories. Pavilion itself hosted around 30 events with nearly 1,500 local and international participants and served as an important platform for dialogue, cooperation, and knowledge exchange. This diversity reflects the core strengths of the World Urban Forum, its inclusivity. WUF13 was broadly a stakeholder-led forum where all actors contributed as equal partners in shaping urban future. In this regard, we are pleased that WUF13 was broadly a stakeholder-led forum, fully reflected the inclusive and participatory nature of the WUF process, including through the stakeholder-composed advisory board that contributed to the development of Baku Call to Action as a key outcome of WUF13. For the first time, WUF13 hosted the NGO forum, bringing together around 800 participants from more than 100 countries. This important platform highlighted the essential role of civil society, grassroots organizations, and local communities in shaping inclusive, resilient, and people-centered urban futures. The NGO Forum adopted the Baku Declaration on Urban Resilience and Global Cooperation, initiated by Azerbaijani NGOs and signed by 441 civil society representatives from 82 countries participating at WUF13. The declaration reaffirmed the importance of solidarity, partnership, and coordinated international action in addressing urban challenges, the global housing crisis, and the need for more inclusive urban development. NGO Pavilion hosted 59 events with about 3,000 local and international participants, reflecting the strong engagement and substantive contribution of Azerbaijan to the thematic agenda of the forum. The Pavilion of Global South NGO platform hosted around 30 events attended by 1,500 local and international participants. WUF13 also extended beyond the conference space. Through Baku Urban Week, 55 events, and WUF13 Festival across 9 cities, more than 115,000 people engaged with discussions on sustainable urban development. The forum also received wide global visibility, supported by more than 1,000 accredited media representatives, ensuring that its messages reached audience worldwide. Youth engagement was another defining strength. 2,500 volunteers contributed to the organization and smooth operation of the forum, reflecting the professionalism, hospitality, and dynamism of Azerbaijani youth. Their participation represents one of the most valuable legacies of WUF13 through knowledge exchange, skills development, and stronger youth engagement in global urban processes. WUF13 generated important new initiatives. A high-level forum entitled Breathing Life into the New Urban Agenda, Integrating Air Quality and Green Infrastructure for Resilient Cities, was organized on the margins of WUF13 at the initiative of Ms. Leyla Aliyeva, Vice President of the Heydar Aliyev Foundation and the founder and head of the IDEA Public Union. The forum emphasized the importance of clean air and green infrastructure as essential components of sustainable urban development and healthy living environments. The communiqué adopted following the meeting called on the international community to recognize clean air as standing thematic priority within the future World Urban Forums. The Smart Sustainable Settlements for Safe Return Package, or 4SRP, was introduced as a practical recovery framework and an important step toward developing integrated solutions for climate-resilient, environmentally sustainable, peace-positive, and people-centered urban recovery, particularly in fragile and post-conflict settings. Dear media representatives, WUF13 is not only a conference, it is a platform for action. The theme of WUF13 placed housing at the center of the global urban agenda and reaffirmed that access to adequate housing, affordable, safe, and resilient housing remains one of the defining challenges of our time. Throughout the forum, discussions highlighted that housing is not only a basic human necessity, but also a foundation for dignity, resilience, social inclusion, economic opportunity, and sustainable urban growth. WUF13 also underscored that addressing the global housing crisis requires effective multilateralism, stronger partnerships, innovative financing, and coordinated actions at all levels. The forum will be remembered not only for its scale, but also for its innovative formats, inclusive participation, and substantive outcomes. We hope the discussions, opportunities, and proposed solutions will be translated into concrete actions and contribute to addressing housing and homelessness challenges affecting 3.5 billion people worldwide. As highlighted in Article 25 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, housing is the human right, and this right must be ensured for the benefit of all. Your role in presenting information about WUF13 is essential. By highlighting the forum, you ensure that its objectives, achievements, and discussions are widely communicated to the global community. And we hope every participant leaves Baku not only inspired, but equipped with stronger partnerships, clear priorities, and renewed determination. Thank you once again, and see you soon in Mexico.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guliev, for those important remarks and for giving highlights of WUF13. Now I would like to invite Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed, to give her opening statement. Madam, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, dear Ana Claudia, Ambassador to Mexico in Azerbaijan, media colleagues, let me begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to the government and to the people of Azerbaijan, the city of Baku, UN Habitat, and all the partners for hosting what has clearly been a successful and impactful 13th session of the World Urban Forum. And not to underestimate this huge, I think, success in a world where the geopolitical tensions, the turmoil, the conflict are taking up much of the space in the minds of our leaders. This forum has once again demonstrated why the World Urban Forum remains the principal global platform on sustainable urbanization and human settlements, convened by UN Habitat, led by an incredible woman, Anna Claudia Rosbach, but also bringing governments, civil society, the private sector, indigenous people, climate activists, academia, development banks, our young people, women's groups, communities, and the UN system all around a shared urban future. This morning, my meetings with the Women's Caucus was impressive, the leadership and the clear call for action in people's lived experiences. The discussions here in Baku have reinforced a central truth. Housing is a global agenda for local action. From rural communities, informal settlements to cities, housing must be seen from a human and a dignified perspective, one that strengthens resilience, restores vibrant centers of culture, social and economic life, and shapes the future with people at its core. Azerbaijan's reconstruction and sustaining peace and development in its territory stands as a model for rebuilding infrastructure, reintegrating communities, and unlocking economic potential. At a moment when the world is facing intersecting crises, from climate shocks and conflicts to inequality and housing insecurity, growing debt pressures which constrain fiscal space and limit the ability to invest in affordable housing, resilient infrastructure, and basic services, this forum has highlighted the essential role of multilateral cooperation, multi-level governance, and local action. WUF13 has demonstrated the importance of the international community through the United Nations system coming together around addressing the housing crises and urbanization as a strategic accelerator for the Sustainable Development Goals. Tackling the housing crisis is not only the responsibility of one agency alone, it cuts across many streams of our work on housing, climate, health, transport, migration, jobs, digitalization, water, energy, disaster risk reduction, gender, and social protection. This is a system-wide coordination in action, and UN Habitat is showing how it integrates policy, partners, and advocacy across the urban-rural agenda. The Secretary-General, UN Habitat, resident coordinators, regional economic commissions, and the wider UN family will continue to strengthen a more coherent UN approach to addressing adequate housing and sustainable urban development, all in trying to deliver on the Sustainable Agenda and Agenda 2030. However, the SDGs will not be achieved globally unless they are implemented in our countries and our communities. And that is why the conversations, the commitments that are emerging from this forum are essential to SDG implementation, building the roots of transformation that we need across society, and the work that we must do as we leave the forum. It does mean that we have to continue to deepen the relationships, working with all members of society, including local and regional authorities that will drive these transformations that we need, drawing on lived experiences, with housing as an imperative for sustainable development. Cities must work for everyone, especially our children, women, young people, persons with disabilities, older persons, our migrants, displaced populations, and those living in informal settlements. As we look ahead, including to our major milestones such as COP31 and the second UN Water Conference, in addition to the New Urban Agenda review in July, locally led adaptation must factor in as a critical priority. Much progress has been made since the adoption of the New Urban Agenda, but we still have a lot of unfinished business. The energy, partnerships, and solutions showcased at this forum give us a lot of reason for hope. Baku's call to action is clear. Sustainable urbanization is one of the strongest pathways to restoring trust, SDG acceleration, and renewing multilateralism. We leave Baku with a renewed determination to work together to build communities and cities that are inclusive, resilient, sustainable, and centered on human dignity. It is time to house the world and to give every person a life of dignity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Secretary General, for these remarks. And now I will give the floor to the Executive Director of UN Habitat and Under-Secretary General of the United Nations, Ms. Anna Claudia Rosbach.
Thank you, Katharina. Good morning, Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohamed, my friend Anar, Chairman from SCUPA, my other friend, minha amiga, Maria Vitória, Embajadora of Mexico to Azerbaijan, Excellencies, members of the press, good morning. So I would like to start expressing my profound gratitude to the government of the Republic of Azerbaijan for hosting the fantastic 13th session of the World Urban Forum in Baku, the exceptional hospitality, organization, leadership demonstrated throughout this week. Your commitment, Minister, has made WUF13 a truly global gathering at a critical moment for the urban future. I also extend my sincere appreciation to all participants, governments, cities, partners, experts, civil society, youth, communities, for your energy, your engagement, and shared determination over the past days. So this session has once again shown that the World Urban Forum is truly a global platform for collective action for the future of cities. We have seen exceptional engagement and attendance across the program. Over 57,000 participants, including over 3,000 connected online from over 176 countries, 1,000 visits to the expo. 55% of these participants are women and girls. We welcome 11 heads of states, 9 high-level guests, 88 ministers and 76 deputy ministers, 130 mayors, and we held a total of 579 sessions. We welcome 260 exhibitors, innovators, and solution providers at the Urban Expo that registered over 74,000 visits. And 865 media representatives covered the forum throughout the week. These figures reflect the urgency. Cities are demanding solutions and partners are responding. So the theme of WUF13, Housing the World, Safe and Resilient Cities and Communities, could not be timelier. We met at a moment when the global housing crisis has reached unprecedented scale, affecting billions of people through affordability pressures, displacement, informality, climate vulnerability, and declining conditions of life. Housing is no longer a sector issue. It is a systemic challenge that shapes inequality, opportunity, resilience, and stability and peace in our cities and societies. The discussions here in Baku have reinforced the clear message: housing must be placed at the center of integrated urban policy, linking land, infrastructure, climate action, finance, and governance. I really welcome the strong convergence of the ideas that have emerged throughout the forum and commend the development of the Baku Call to Action, which reflects the collective voice of WUF13. The key priorities that emerged from this week include addressing the scale of the housing crisis, recognizing that billions still lack adequate housing and that urgent systemic responses are needed to go beyond incremental approaches, rebalancing housing systems and finance, strengthening implementation and scaling solutions, bringing proven practices from informal settlement upgrading to climate-resilient housing and community-led approaches into mainstream policy and investment, empowering local action and partnerships, reinforcing the central role of cities, communities, and local governments, supported by national and international partners in delivering solutions at scale, advancing climate resilient and inclusive urban transformation, ensuring housing systems support both climate change mitigation and adaptation while protecting the most vulnerable and preventing exclusion. The Baku Call to Action will serve as a key reference point for advancing these priorities across global processes and platforms. We'll bring these outcomes into UN Habitat's intergovernmental work, including ongoing discussions on adequate housing, urban resilience, and sustainable development frameworks. They will also inform our engagement with global climate and development processes, ensuring that housing in cities remains central to the implementation of the SDGs, the Paris Agreement, and the new urban agenda. Looking ahead, we'll continue building momentum toward WUF13, strengthening the link between ideas, partnerships, and implementations. What we have seen here in Baku is clear. Solutions exist, knowledge exists, and commitment exists. The challenge now is not to define the agenda, but to deliver it and to place housing at the core of human dignity and sustainable development. WUF13 has strengthened a global coalition for urban transformation. Its success lies not only in what we discuss here, but in what will be done next in cities, in communities, and in national and global policy. We leave Baku with renewed determination, stronger partnerships, and a shared responsibility to turn commitments into action. We will carry this momentum forward to the next session of the World Urban Forum that will take place in Mexico City in 2028. We hope to see progress towards adequate housing for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Executive Director, for these remarks. And we are also privileged to have here with us a representative of the incoming host of WUF13, Mexico City. Now I would like to give the floor and invite to deliver her remarks representative of WUF13, Ambassador of Mexico in Azerbaijan, Ms. Maria Victoria Romero Caballera. Madam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Katarina. Excellency, Minister Uliev, Mrs. Mohamed, and Mrs. Rosbach, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to talk to you. And on behalf of the government of Mexico and Mexico City, I would like to congratulate Azerbaijan for the wonderful organization of the 13th World Urban Forum. Our deepest gratitude for your support, generosity, and making our staying in Azerbaijan a successful experience. Once again, we could witness the hospitality of the Azerbaijani people, young women and men guiding us our steps to work, to exchange views, and in the case of Mexico, taking notes, and you know the motive. Special thanks to the young volunteers. Thank you very, very much. We also thank UN Habitat for guiding us and making sure that we have a meaningful participation. The importance of the 13th Forum was reflected in the level of the Mexican delegation. You could see we had the Minister for Urban Planning, we had the Governor of Mexico City, we have a Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, and we have a lot of colleagues coming from both levels of government. After this afternoon, Mexico will be starting the way to WUF13. My colleagues are going back immediately to take this task in the suitcases, but with a firm commitment to making the forum as successful as this forum concluding today. My colleagues from Mexico City government, along with UN Habitat, will start the coordination towards establishing frameworks, governance models, strategic points, and all the heavy work modeling WUF13. They will be working together with relevant stakeholders. Also, with deep emotion, WUF13 will go back to Latin America after 14 years. 7th WUF was held in Medellin, Colombia. But also we have to take into account that WUF13 will have the big task as the last one before 2030. Dear friend, amigos, we will see you in Mexico. And I would like to close this message to you by saying a popular saying that we have in Mexico, mi casa es tu casa. Gracias.
My home is your home.
Thank you very much, Madam Ambassador. I would also like to thank all of our speakers this afternoon. Now we can have a really short question and answer section. I think that we are running a little bit of time, but I think we can take one question for the speakers. If you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand and introduce yourself. We have the mics on the left and on the right.
My name is Sibel Bule. I'm from Eco IQ, Turkey. First of all, I'd like to say seeing 3 women in such high-powered positions is such an encouraging message to the women and young girls of the world. So kudos. My question is to Madam Rosbach. How do you see the discussions, the learnings, the challenges from WUF13 feeding into the post-2030 process? Thank you.
We can take one more question and then we will answer. There is a question at the back there, the gentleman.
Hello, I'm from Azerbaijan television. I have a question about the Karabakh region. And Karabakh, is being rebuilt, and but the landmine through it remains. How can United Habitat help raise international attention to this situation? Thank you.
Can you please also say who this question is addressed to, particularly?
My question is to Madame Mohammed.
Thank you very much. Maybe we start with the first. Yeah.
Sure. So as we have been saying, we are at the moment of midterm review of the New Urban Agenda. So New Urban Agenda was endorsed by member states in Quito, Ecuador in 2016, and it goes until 2036. So it goes beyond 2030. So now the focus is on seeing, for us here, for this urban community, what's possible to be done from now to 2030.
Thank you
very much. I'll just add to that 2030 agenda. We have 5 years, and there are clearly an integrated approach to housing. It doesn't stand alone. It stands within infrastructure, inclusive economies. It stands within giving, ensuring that we have systems that will operate for where dwellings are, your health systems, your education systems. So it's central to the Sustainable Development Agenda, and the fact that we're examining the goal at the high-level political forum in a few weeks will put a lot more emphasis. But just to see how many more people have been engaged coming to Baku for the urban agenda, I think it really does show you that this is about the actions and the investments that we need to push for at the country level to ensure that housing is included, and very much an opportunity to accelerate on the SDGs. The second question about Karabakh, of course, this is government and its program for that reintegration, sustaining peace. But for us at the UN, we are currently involved in supporting the country with the demining. It's an important exercise. It will take a very long time, but it's also part of that trust building and making a safer community for people as infrastructure is put back.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to ask you to give a round of applause to our speakers. I would like to thank our speakers and maybe also invite them to stand just for a closing photo from this press conference. Just one photo, and then thank you very much.